Do you feel hurt when someone else is disrespecting you? If that's the case, then you might want to stick around, because I will reveal that the hurt that you felt inside was really because of something else. Hello everyone, my name is Doris Victoria, your transformational soul empowerment and conscious millionaire coach. And today I'm going to share with you 5 golden rules on how to respect yourself more. So grab your notebook, grab a cup of tea or a cup of cocoa like I have here, a big one. And we're going to dive right in. So I'm going to share the 5 golden rules to respect yourself more, and then I'm going to tune in and see if Spirit has something to add to the subject. So you might want to stick around all the way until the end. Okay, let's start. Stop trying to make everyone else around you happy. So if you know this, if you have been a people pleaser, and other people's happiness have always been more important than your own. And maybe it was partly because conditioning, maybe it was because of a lack of self-worth. But if that has been the case, then you need to know something very important. You are not here to gain somebody else's approval. You are here to walk your path in dignity and in alignment with your own soul, with your own values, with your own desires and dreams. And remember this, that when you are happy, when you are able to keep your boundaries, to keep your own self-respect, and you are happy, that's when everyone else will be happy. Because how could people around you be happy when you are not happy? So from now on, if you have been one of those people-pleasing, thinking that you don't maybe deserve happiness, but if everyone else is happy, then you will have peace and there will be harmony and it will be easier to deal with them. No, look really after your own happiness, because first of all, you deserve it just as much as everyone else, because you're a divine, beautiful soul being here on earth. And remember that only if you are happy, then everyone else will truly be happy as well, or else it's not going to be happiness. Which brings me to my second golden rule: set firm boundaries, especially if you have been disrespected in the past. So maybe you know this. You have set a time, you have told a friend you're going to be there at this time. She confirmed that she's going to be there at this time, and then she's late and she's not texting you. And it's 5 minutes past the time you both agreed upon, 10 minutes past upon the time, and she's just not texting you. There's no message or whatsoever. You're texting her, you have the opportunity to walk away because she didn't show up. Or if you're really, really kind, you can text her, hey, I thought we agreed upon this and this time today. Where are you? And then maybe she will say, I'm coming. But 5 minutes later, she's still not there. So what are you going to do with such a friend? You have to set firm boundaries. And this is just one example of how people can disrespect yourself. There's other ways. Disrespect can start with, not being there for you when you need support of any kind. Not being there for you when you need emotional support or mental support, or making fun of you, or how can I say, talking bad in front of you towards their friends when you are being present, So imagine that somebody is saying something about you that is not true just because they want their friends to admire them. I mean, what kind of treatment is that, right? And you can tell I'm talking out of experience here. I have had all this in my life, and I know how it feels when you don't know how to set boundaries. So as long as you're taking it as a sign, oh yeah, it's because I'm so worthless and nobody respects me, and you have all these self-doubts about yourself. No, set firm boundaries and be clear. And if they're disrespected the second time, then walk away in dignity. Do not play this game anymore. Someone who doesn't learn to respect yourself, even though you have been clear with your boundaries, first of all, they don't know how to respect themselves, because somebody else can only do with you what they are doing with themselves, or otherwise they wouldn't be capable. Anything that we're doing with someone else, everything we are telling someone else, even if something that basically it's all a reflection within yourself. It's a reflection about you and about your own self. So everything others are saying about you is true about themselves, and everything others are doing to you, they're doing to themselves. So you wouldn't want to be with anyone, any friend or partner or parent or whatever it is that is not respecting you. If that is the case, set boundaries. If these boundaries are violated, walk away in dignity and then let them come towards you. Do not run behind them. You don't need people that don't respect you in your life. Rule number 3. If you have ever been betrayed in your life, you know how it feels. You know this empty feeling of, again, self-doubt is creeping in. A lack of self-confidence. Are you good enough? If you know this, and if you have been betrayed before, set boundaries. Talk to this person. And betrayal does not necessarily only mean sexual betrayal. It can be a betrayal of friendship as well. It can be any kind of betrayal. It does not necessarily have to be between partners and sexual. But if you have been betrayed, do this. Forgive yourself in the first place that you were not able to see this coming, because many of my clients, and including myself, we are beating ourselves up for anything or maybe we are beating ourselves up that we haven't seen it coming, that we were not wise enough to read this person that well, that they would be able to do this. So if that has been the case with you, forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for being innocent, for being with this person that has betrayed your trust of any kind. It can also be emotional betrayal. And then move on. Do not run behind them. You don't need those people in your life. If you want to respect yourself, I agree. The path of a person who is respecting themselves can be lonely at times. But you better want to be lonely and in your own dignity, in your own honorable energy, than being with people who make you feel disrespected over and over again. Because self-respect really starts with yourself. And when you're giving it to yourself, that's when everyone else can show it to you too. Number 4. We have talked about this already a little tiny bit, but if someone has underestimated you, if they haven't believed in you, let your results speak. Show them that you are way more powerful than they think. Sometimes when someone is, how can I say, teachers are doing this often. When you're a student in school, you know exactly what the teachers are thinking of you. I mean, I felt it. And I remember when I was in school, I had one teacher that really believed in me. And he was always kind of like, I don't know, I was his golden ray of sunshine, I felt, because he was very kind with me. And I think he saw who I truly was and what was going on in my home, but he saw beyond that. He saw my intelligence, my capacity. And interestingly, I always had amazingly great notes. I did really well in his exams and in his class. And there were other teachers who were underestimating you. They were not really believing in you. That was the case in math. I had a math teacher and she didn't have a lot of emotional intelligence, and I didn't feel seen by her. And everything that didn't understand what she said, I could feel that she was just thinking, oh, they're dumb, So in her case, I never really had good notes because, first of all, I couldn't connect with her. She didn't, as I said, if there's no open heart, if there's no openness of, any kind of emotional rapport, it's hard to connect with that person. So if you know this, maybe you have been underestimated by your own parents or by your partner or whoever it is, show them better. I remember I was in college in the US. My college was CSM, San Mateo San Mateo, close to Half Moon, where we used to live. And I took a public speaking class there, I remember. And my teacher, she was Japanese, and I liked her. You know, she was firm, she was friendly, but she was tough. You know, everyone was afraid of her. And everyone was like, oh my God, she's going to be the teacher. Oh no, you don't want to be in her class and stuff because she's never giving good notes. And so I remember that I proved her otherwise. And I did the best that I could. And I was really speaking with confidence when I spoke up in class. I remember I was in the debate team. So she must have seen me as a very powerful, a very confident speaker, because she paired me up with the weakest speaker in class, which was a guy who often even didn't show up. And so it was about a debate, and then we had to sit together, you know, 2 against 2, and we had to argue about the certain thing that she gave us, the theme. That was not really one of my themes, but I did the work, you know, I did the research. I looked everything up. I spoke to people about it. So I really became an expert, so to speak, in my area of that I had to talk about in that exam. So I remember the last day of the exam approached. My partner did not show up, as if I was surprised about it. I kind of saw it coming, so I prepared myself to really be ready and not rely on anyone else, but to rely on myself. And get this, I won the debate, and I won. I had the best grade, and she didn't say much, you know. She said, it was very nice to watch this high caliber debate. Thank you so much for yours. She was kind of like intimidated. And then a year after, I saw her in a coffee shop. And by that time, I already left. I came back to Europe already. And I remember how she came after me, and she said, hey, do you remember me? You were in my class and you were doing the debate. And I said, yes, Mrs. Mitsumoto. Yes, of course I remember. You were my public speaking teacher. And she was like, I am so happy that I met you again. And I am so happy I got the opportunity to congratulate you. I didn't have the courage to do it back then, because you seemed so all set and all confident, and I just couldn't say it, but you really did amazing. And you're an amazing woman, and I admire you still for being there alone. And anyway, so she showered me with all this kindness, and I would never have expected it from her. But here's what I did. I showed her otherwise. You know, if I ever felt underestimated by her, I showed her what I can do. And this is how it works. So if you have ever felt underestimated by anyone in your life, show them. And rule number 5, this is an easy one, and maybe it is clear as stardust. If you are not invited, don't go. So imagine friends do a party, or somebody is having something, and you're usually close to them, but they're not inviting you. And instead of being sad, you know, I had a client recently and she told me about this. And I was asking her, so what did you do? Why didn't you tell me when that was the case before that party? And she said, oh, I felt so ashamed. And then she said, I was asking her, so did you go? And she said, well, yeah, I did show up and they seemed to be happy. And I said, why did you go? And then we had a conversation about this. And this conversation with her, this session really made me think, and this is why I wanted to include it here. If you're not invited, it's not because they forgot you. If you play a high role in somebody's life, they will think of you. And they will want you they will have you there because you're important to them. And they have respect for you, and they love you, and they appreciate you. But if they don't invite you, then don't bother. Just don't go. If you would go to a party where you are not invited, that's what I was asking her in our session. Well, how did you feel about yourself? How did it make you feel about yourself? And what she told me really made me think. Because how will you feel respected going to a party that you have not been invited to and you're going anyway. I would say if that happens, and that's what we agreed with her in the end, I told her, you know, and if that happens again, don't be sad, don't think about it. If you matter to them, they will come back to you. They will talk to you about this. And if you are really curious, you can ask them, hey, I heard you had this party, how was it? And then, you know, see what they say, but don't bother. You don't need the approval of anybody else in your life. You only need your own approval. And you will be able to give yourself your own approval when you will respect your own boundaries. So self-respect starts with being kind to yourself, making yourself happy in the first place because you know you deserve it. Walk in dignity according to your rules. Show the world what you're able to do. Again, if I haven't said it yet, set firm boundaries, but I know I've said it, but I know this is a really important subject for many of us. So now, Spirit has been very present during this conversation, and she, he, it wants me to give you the following message. You are a divine being. You are respected by us at all times. You do not have to prove your respect with anything that you do. We respect you simply because you're here on earth. We respect you because you had the courage to say yes, to incarnate on Mother Earth and be here in those legendary times of change. Just because of that, we are here to wash your feet, to adore you, to respect you, to love you. We are that parent that you never had, that is always there for you, that you can always reach out to. Imagine you would be on a phone call with us, but we never hang up. Anytime you need us, we will be here for you. Dear one, walk your path, knowing that you are dearly loved and respected. That is all you need to know in order, let me find the right word they're saying, in order to master the life here on earth that you have chosen. And so it is. Have a beautiful day, everyone. If you struggled with self-respect, remember, I still have one open place in my coaching schedule right now. You know how it works. Just drop me a message in the chat below and we will be connected. The first session is always free of charge. It's a session where we get to know each other. If that is of interest to you, just reach out. And in any case, I hope this video helped you to respect yourself more. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next video. Oh, and something else I'm gonna do for some of you, or many of you that are following my shorts, I'm gonna do a self-respect challenge, and I'm gonna share way more. I'm gonna share a little tiny lesson every day, and I'm gonna start the end of October, so you might wanna watch out for those shorts. Okay, thanks again for being here. Have a beautiful day. Blessings, beloved one, and see you soon.